and welcome back to Bourbon Barrel Talk. I'm your host, Scott Minton. Today we're back in the Brock Bourbon Bar, and we're drinking a little Dragon's Milk.
Yes.
Dragon's Milk.
Yeah. I mean, we do the once-a-year stouts, but these aren't stouts, though.
They're not. Like
It's milk.
Dragon's Milk typically is known for their stouts, and they even make some milk stouts, which are, a little bit, different from
Barrel-aged.
regular stuff, and they make the barrel-aged stuff, right? Yeah. How long have they been making whiskey?
The Origin series came out probably around about 3 years ago.
Okay.
They had already been in production as a kind of experimental, but the Origin series really became known for their toasted release. Now, unfortunately, I wasn't able to get a hold of a toasted, still working on that, but I was able to get a couple of the other ones because I had a family member that was up in Holland, Michigan, and offered to pick up some of these actually from their distillery.
Now refresh my memory here. Is it Holland or New Holland, Michigan?
No. The brewery is called New Holland.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Yes, the brewery is called New Holland.
Gotcha.
But the actual city is Holland, Michigan.
There we go. That's why I was confused, because I honest to goodness thought the whole thing was like just called New Holland, like New Holland City, New Holland Brewery. So shame on me.
It is. I don't know, but the bottles are incredible.
The bottles are really cool. I mean, they're like a copperish looking at the bottom, and that might be just the liquor. And then it goes up into like a black, but they're dragon scales, right?
So think of the segue like from New Riff, where you have kind of the clear bottom, and then you have kind of the black coated top part of the bottle.
Perfect description.
Yeah.
Except for towards the top, you're correct. They're almost like scales that they have kind of inlaid or etched with the bottle.
And the shape of the bottle would be like what was the baseball one we did? Field of Dreams?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Field of Dreams.
Yeah.
A little bit wider bottom.
Yeah.
And not as wide top, but similar that style.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that with dragon scales.
Yeah, pretty much.
And the color of New Riff's bottles. Mm-hmm. There we go. We did it. All right. That's it. That's our episode. Thank you for calling me.
Have a great night.
We're going to drink offline. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, perfect review. The bottle was great. We haven't tried the whiskey, but we have no
Who cares
idea.
about that?
All right. Anyway, let's drink a little. Barbara, what are you serving us here first?
All right. So first we have the Dragon's Milk Origin small batch. It comes in at a lovely 95 proof. It is aged 5 years, and it is aged in charred American white oak. Yeah, I think that's about all.
Good Lord. Did Barbara pour my glasses?
No, I don't. I watched you this time.
Ooh, this is kind of cool. It is distilling on a Prohibition era pot still.
I was about to ask, is this pot stilled? Because it's got a pot stilled nose.
Yeah, apparently, yes.
Because I'm getting a lot of vanilla off of this.
Yeah, I'm getting some vanilla, and there's another nose in there that I just can't identify just yet.
So you get kind of a weird, like, musty note a lot of times off of pot stills.
It almost is like an apricot flower. I'm not going apricot, but like the flower, the blossom.
That stone fruitish apricot.
But it's the blossom. It has nothing to do with
the flower.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely more of a floral than it is the actual fruit.
A little bit of caramel, a little vanilla.
Yeah. I think the vanilla is pretty heavy, actually.
The floral note, though, I don't know that I've ever, like, smelled like the flower of an apricot or a stone fruit tree. I don't.
Mm-hmm.
Just think of it as a flower, not necessarily the apricot, but just as a flower.
Yeah,
and that might be part of the musty that you're smelling as well.
Yeah, well, so like when I drive through like Georgia or Florida and like peach trees are blooming or citrus, like especially like orange trees in Florida, like when citrus is blooming, like it, like you can smell it miles away, right?
I see where you're getting at with that.
But like whenever I go through Georgia during that same time frame when peach trees are starting to bloom, flower out, things like that, maybe it's a little bit like less sweet than some of those are that I feel like. But I think I understand where Barbara's coming from. I guess that's the best way of putting it. But it doesn't ring as true for those as what it may be. And I've never smelled an apricot tree, so I have no idea.
Got it.
I mean, I'm getting somewhere. I don't know if I quite call it stone fruit, but I agree with you. There's like a peach. I'm hesitant to say mango.
No, it's not mango.
But it just kind of is just in that that family of noses where you have that kind of like a sweeter fruit note in there.
This might sound a little crazy. Starfruit.
Oh, fluff.
Actually, I don't think I'm familiar with starfruit. Have I ever
I
had
know
starfruit?
I don't know if you've not. I have. I did an experiment one time. God, I think it was maybe middle school, probably high school, where I had to try different fruits from different places. Starfruit was one of them, and I forgot. But yes, no, I get it. There was something about the starfruit. It's similar to, let's say,
If a kiwi married a pear, and then they
had a little passion fruit.
yeah, yeah.
I mean,
I was gonna say dragon fruit, but passion
dragon
fruit probably
would work
yeah.
too. Yeah, either or.
I mean, that's how they got together, was the passion.
Yeah. Good Lord.
Okay, we're already starting on the first class.
Well, the corny jokes are already rolling. I love it. 100,000 unemployed comedians, and you guys are getting a free audition today from our assholes.
Everybody's got one.
Yep.
All right, let me start over here. The palate is really different.
I know. But
I'm having like an existential experience right now because I'm trying to figure out kind of what's going on with that palate. Because at first, it felt like something right at the first of the palate, at the first hit. Then all of a sudden, once it hit the mid palate, it went boom.
I wonder what the mash bill is. And the reason I say that, I swear to you not, I'm getting like so much malt.
That's what I'm smelling.
Like it is almost,
and that's what I'm tasting.
it is very beer-esque. Like this might be one of the smoother bourbons I've had in a long time because it is super malty. It reminds me almost of like an old ESB, like Old Speckled Hen or Caverat or one of those like British whiskeys. I mean, British beers that were like that mid-level.
hopefully, IT
Please
can
tell
come
me there's
through
not like
because this doesn't.
3% malt or something stupid.
No, I am amazed at how spot on you are. It is 70 corn, 25 malted barley, 5 rye.
Yeah.
Bam.
I mean,
Okay,
there's a lot of malt in this
There
thing.
is a lot of malt, and I get that rye because that's right in the middle of my tongue, right on the edges. I've got that spicy, those baking spices, kind of peppery
Yeah.
feel.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're spot on because I was like,
Yeah.
going, what's happening here? I was
It's not bourbon.
It's not. Yeah, I know. It would be more kind of like a beer.
Yeah.
And it's amazing. It's
That's
weirdly
really,
amazing.
yeah, especially since I don't like beer.
So it's funny. Matt told me that he tried it when him and his wife went up to Michigan. Lindsay, I don't know. I'm gonna guess it was probably about 8-9 months ago. And he said like they bought it. They were like at some like little beach house on Lake Michigan or whatever, and like he's like they crushed the bottle in a week with him and another couples, and like the three of them went up there or
I
whatever.
can
But-
understand.
I could see him crushing a bottle in a day.
But that's not. But that
True.
so that's
Just himself.
but not Matt Jasnoff, the other Matt.
Oh, the other Matt. I'm
the
sorry
other Matt,
because
yeah.
Matt.
Oh yeah, if it was Matt Jasnoff, yeah, no question, yeah, absolutely. With him and 2 other dudes, yes, it's gone. I can't tell you the number of times me and Matt and somebody else has pretty much put damage through a bottle. But anyway, it is very smooth. Like it's like, but that malt just like hangs, like it's all over your mouth.
It is absolutely all over the mouth.
And I would say, yeah, you're right. It's smooth. There is no burn. There's
No.
No,
nothing.
No, nothing.
There's none of that.
The only burn is the rye that I get on the
right
on-
in the middle of the tongue.
middle of the tongue, just before the mid palate.
So I do think it has a little bit of a hug, though.
Yeah,
It's very slight, if any at all.
yeah.
Really?
Very
Yeah,
slight.
I'm not
Yeah,
getting much of anyone.
yeah.
No, I did pregame a little bit, so that's a possibility.
I
But
think most of us
Well,
did.
I also like coughed a little bit because it caught me off guard. So maybe some of it went down the wrong pipe. Let me go back in.
Very,
Yeah,
very
you might as
possible.
well
Yeah,
do-
because most,
yeah,
I mean,
I'm not
I'm not
getting
feeling any of it.
No.
But also look at the legs. No, you're right. You guys are right. I think the first one just hit the wrong hole on the way down. That's what she said, right?
Now the color it does. For a 5-year-old, I'm not sure what their seasons are like, but it doesn't seem like it's very dark.
It's pretty light.
Especially out of a charred oak
It's
barrel.
and we'll say that it's almost like an amber/light honey color.
Yeah,
I would say
absolutely.
this much more looks like Scotch than bourbon
Yes. At
from a
least
color standpoint.
I can get that.
I don't know, man. I'm actually really pleasantly surprised on this.
I really like this one.
Yeah, there's just something about it that's, I mean, it's different because of that. How many times, I don't think we've had many times where the malted barley is a secondary grain
No.
and not the third.
And there's a reason. I mean, barley's expensive. I mean, barley is probably the most expensive grain in there. And it's funny, like when we went to Casey Jones, that was one of the things that I like talk so much about. Like, I wish somebody would do this. And then here we are drinking it, right? Like, literally.
Well, that and our other visit with West Fork, to where they didn't use malted barley at all.
Right, right.
I miss both of those.
I think barley just adds so much mouthfeel and so much texture that not having it like really changes the dynamic and stuff.
Oh,
Barbara's
absolutely.
super excited. I put water, so calm down.
It's not necessarily that I'm super excited. I also added a couple of drops of water.
Right.
I want to hear your take before I go into mine. I'm already looking at your face going, oh, hello.
Well, the nose went a little more tannic and a little bit more citrus, which is weird.
Thank you.
I will tell you that because I put a single drop in mine.
Okay.
And the spice went further back on the palate than being. Right
It is
front.
a tiny bit. It's not really a hug.
No.
It's not.
And it
It's
didn't
almost
get that deep.
yeah. It like right at the what is that called? Epiglottis, I think is what
I have no idea what you're talking about right now.
the little
Ubla
thing that
dom
hangs
dom
down
gata.
the.
Oh, that's the uvula, isn't it?
Lulia.
Is that not what it is? The uvula? Not vulva, Dan. Come on, Grandpa. You got a dirty mind over there, dog.
We've hung out
I'm
with
the one
you
that
too
had the
long.
limericks.
The water brings out a little bit more of the spice.
It
from
does.
the rye.
It does, but it brings it from the front palate to the back palate.
I get it more or less. I give it more
I get it on the
coating.
jaws, yeah, like that mid finish right through my jaws.
I'm correct. It is the epiglottis.
Is it?
Yep.
The little hangy thing's called the epiglottis?
Yes.
No, it's not the.
You want to look?
I don't know. She's crazy.
Nick, to your point,
I work in healthcare, you doofus.
Well, Dick does too, but he works on computers. Does that
Okay,
count?
no. It's the cartilage from your tongue that tries to go between swallowing and air, not the.
Not the little hangy things.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay,
the
what's that?
hangy thing is the uvula. That's what I thought.
Fine,
trying
whatever.
To be, I work in healthcare.
but I will say that to Nick's point, the spice does now permeate more, but it's still got that malt undertone. I don't want to call it an overtone. A malt undertone to it, and I don't get a hug. I still don't get a hug. It just went further back in the palate.
I'm a no water guy on this one.
I agree with that.
Yep, I agree with that too.
All right, on to the bottled and bond.
Okay, so I'm kind of on the opposite. I think,
Hey, I just said on to the bottle and bond.
yeah, but see, 1, 2, 3, there's 4 of us here. 3 people talked, 1 didn't.
All right, so what do you think with a little drop?
I think it would definitely depend on the day, on whether or not I want more of a lighter flavor or more of that like almost fruity, rye, almost huggy type feeling.
I mean, it did bring out a little bit of fruit, but it was almost like sour fruit. Like it almost went like from that nice little star fruity, stone fruity area to like ruby red grapefruit.
Not a chance.
But and I mean that like in a tart way. Like to me, like it just kind of went more of like a tarty citrus flair with the drop of water.
Okay. Everybody's different. To each
No.
their own.
Catchphrase.
All right, 100 proof. What do we got? The bottled and bond. Barbara, I think you've got that bottle. Or
No.
Nick
No,
got that
Nicholas
one?
has that one. I did the first
she had
one.
the first
Couldn't
one.
remember who had what, man. Calm down.
So most everybody knows Bottle and Bond. It's 100 proof. There is no age statement on this, but at least it would have to be a minimum of 4 years. So
Any chance the IT peanut gallery could maybe find something?
I'll check.
Let's go Dragon's Milk. You give us a little love. Give us an age statement. We
Ooh.
like ages.
Hi. Yeah.
So
this one's got a similar nose to the first
Yep.
one.
I'm smelling some candy,
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. It's a little bit sweeter.
and I don't think it has the legs of the first one.
Not quite.
Not quite. I mean, there are legs, but I don't think it's
Yeah.
the same.
There's a medicinal quality to this, though,
Right.
too.
I was just thinking that.
Not quite that Dickel like Flintstone vitamin-y like medicinal, but it's got
No,
something.
it's more of like a field green floral type of medicinal. There's so many different.
I got bubblegum.
You're getting that sweet?
That's
I just did.
I'm about to say I'm almost getting some kind of like brown sugar
Yeah.
creme brulee, something along those
yeah,
lines.
that kind of toasty is what I'm getting.
I'm getting more creamy than I am like bubblegum smacks you in the mouth or
It's not smash me in the mouth, but
no,
but
it's subtle.
I mean,
it's
the
almost like the double bubble after you've chewed on it for about 3 to 5 minutes. It's kind of that. It's subtle. It's there.
it took the third nose for me to get to that.
Okay.
I mean, I smelled the candy the first time, but when I went in for the third time to smell it, bubblegum just hit me in the face.
Yeah. It's more that double bubble. I mean, double bubble is a specific more than like just bubble gum. You know what I mean?
all right.
I'm sorry. I grew up on Bazooka. That's all I know.
I'm gonna
Okay.
I'm gonna steer this plane.
Okay. Bring
Back.
it on. Okay, fine.
Well,
whatever.
no, not back, but over a little bit, right?
Okay.
So, like, the more I'm sniffing this, and I'm hearing what Dan's saying, I'm kind of hearing what you're saying, and then I'm going to old school like soda jerk, like if you took like old school like sodas and made like your vanilla Coke or something like that.
like the Soda Stream stuff nowadays.
Yeah, Soda Stream. But I'm talking like if you went to Shimps, right, and you went in there and you ordered a chocolate Coke or and not chocolate per se, but like
Even if you
something
just
in
ordered
that
a Coke.
sweet, right? Yeah, but like a sweeter version of that, like that. It almost has like a soda-y type nose profile. It's not root beer, it's not cream soda, but it just kind of reminds me of just kind of like that soda smell.
Almost a little bit of maybe like that effervescent type.
That would be the soda smell from a soda jerk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
See, and I don't know what soda jerk was, so I'm sorry.
If you went to a pharmacy or whatever it was, and you sat at a counter and you asked for a Coke, they would go put Coke syrup and soda water.
Okay.
That would be the Coke. You wouldn't get it in a bottle. It didn't come off of a tap,
They stirred it,
Okay.
you know.
and that was it. That's
was
what a
old
soda
school
jerk.
Coca-Cola.
Old school Coca-Cola.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
But we had a what was it called? Some kind of pharmacy there in Scott County where we grew up. It was Cooney's grocery store, but there was a little drugstore right next door, and I can't remember the name of it for the life of me right now. But anyway, I just remember going there and they would have sodas, and that's like kind of reminds me of that smell of being in there. I guess that's the best way of putting it.
Yeah, the place that I
Okay.
went to was called Fitzgerald's.
Huh. Now the weird thing is on the palate, this is much more of the rye pops coming through.
Yes.
And I'm kind of shocked, especially if it's the exact same mash bill as the other one, because the malt isn't as prominent.
Right.
It is the same mash bill.
Wow.
Wow. Holy cow.
It's the same mash bill, but it's more akin to putting the drop in the first one.
Yeah.
It's not on the
Well,
beginning.
you'd be going the opposite way, wouldn't you? Because, I mean, from a proofage standpoint.
Yeah, but sometimes we've talked about it 100
Yep.
times. Like
Yeah.
when you proof, sometimes the rye pops.
Yeah.
It's popping more in the mid palate than originally on the front of the palate. I can still taste the malt.
I'm getting that malt more in that back palate.
Exactly.
It's that last little bit.
Yeah, the mid to back. And the malt's more coming through. But
Yeah.
it is nowhere near as malty as the first one was.
No.
Oh, by no means. Now, for some reason, I'm trying to think of this. It almost has a little leather tannin to it.
Yeah, I could kind of get where you're coming from.
I'm trying to go besides the obvious one, the obvious things, because I mean, I think I'm getting still like a little hint of brown sugar somewhere there. You get a little tiny bit of quick hit of sweetness, but then it goes away real fast. But nothing when you're like that malt.
There's such a small, faint amount, but there's a touch of mint right on the top of my tongue in the mid palate. It's so slight.
It
It
is
is so
very,
sl-
very, very slight.
It's so subtle. It's mixing with the rye, I think, with the spice.
Yeah, I could tell. Yeah. I once you say it, that I'm kind of like trying to hone in on it, actually specifically looking
Yeah.
for it. And
It is.
I mean,
It
it's
literally
not
is
little.
right on the top of your tongue in the mid palate. I mean, it's just at least that's where it's hitting me. All right, I put a drop.
So did I.
Swirl it a little bit.
Yeah.
The nose went a little sweeter.
I know. I'm getting more of like a floral.
I'm still getting the sweet, but I don't get the bubblegum now.
Right. Yeah. Bubblegum's gone. It's more like a field green.
Moving to that honeysuckle filled greeny.
Exactly.
violets in the field.
The honeysuckle is there, but what's on the palate?
It's much smoother through the palate.
It is much smoother. It's a lot sweeter.
Yeah.
Yep.
A lot sweeter.
Still not as sweet and as malty as the first one,
Correct.
even with a drop.
Yeah.
Isn't that so crazy, though?
And it's so crazy because, of course, we're only talking about, 95 to 100 proof.
Correct.
And probably, what was the...
Age statement is 5 on the
5
first
years.
one.
At least a minimum of 4.
That's what I'm saying, 4 to 5,
But then you have 95 for the small batch,
Right.
to where this is
100 because it's bonded.
Right. Exactly.
When we started drinking this, and sorry to interrupt you, Dan, but
No.
look at the legs now after just a couple drops.
Oh my gosh.
Now, what sense does that make?
None.
But it's funny. It is almost like it's reverting to that 95, the small batch, the first one we drank.
That's exactly what I was going to say. It looks more like the legs than 95 now, with just a drop of water.
But even the whole thing is like more pushing that way, which, I mean, technically that's what it should do, right?
Right.
But it's just rarely do you drink two different things that are the same thing, but proof it and then it tastes the same as the one that you were working on.
Right. The consistency is just so unique between the two when you add that water.
Like I'm not getting the stone fruit, and I'm on the second time with a little bit of water, but I am getting like a fruity, citrusy like note, almost like we did on the first one after we added water.
Yeah, and I'm getting that kind of malt on the finish. Just it's increased.
I mean, that malt
before
is
that
still
water.
there. It's still there, and it is definitely back palate.
I will say that from a standpoint of overall taste, if you like malt, this is the way to go.
Okay.
This just has that malt all the way through the palate. I don't want to say forward. I don't want to say mid. I don't want to say back. It's all the way there. And on both of them, not just this one here, or just on both of them. But if malt is not your jam, I don't know if you'd want to have this. At least not straight up or with a slight amount of water. Maybe on the rocks, could be different.
So it'll be interesting because Scott's not always into that malty type.
Well, that's not necessarily
I said
true.
not always.
He likes his beers.
No, I like
Used to like
malt.
a lot of
I
beers.
like malt, and I like malt a lot. I don't like Scotch, and I don't like peated, and I'm really, really hesitant in the world of smoky. Smoky can be overdone really quickly. So I think there's a difference or a misconception of malt and what I like on the malt side, right? And
Okay.
because like I said, I talk a lot about malt and how much I actually enjoy malt.
And the production of the malt, especially
Right.
when it comes to a Scotch.
Exactly. But the problem I have is that people that typically use a ton of malt are Scotches, weird whiskeys that smoke it, peat it, things the way they finish it is different than the way we do bourbon.
Okay.
So that being said, like I'm not the Scotch guy that's like, or the malt guy that's like, oh, we don't. No, I actually love malt and I love what it does to the whiskey. It's just it can be overdone really quickly in how you finish it.
Okay. I can get behind that.
This is real easy for me. I think the small batch is the better pour neat. The bonded is much better with a drop. So I'm saying this is probably really, really good at 95 to 98 proof, whatever the number is.
Yeah, wherever it comes out to,
Yeah.
I'll agree with that.
So that's my take on these two bottles.
Yeah, I mean, if we have to say one or the other, I want the small batch 95 5-year, then bonded is second.
Yep.
I have to agree, which is not normal.
Dan?
I'm the outlier.
Okay.
So you prefer the
I'm
bottle
going to take the
bottle.
bonded.
Okay.
I just like the nose. I like the amount of malt as opposed to the amount of malt that was in the 95
In the small batch?
in small batch. Don't get me wrong; they are both excellent bourbons.
Yeah, they are actually
But
very,
you're
very
making
good.
me pick one.
So, in terms of the bonded, do you prefer it neat or with water? You knew that was coming.
That's a good question. Probably with a drop of water,
Okay. Alrighty.
which means I probably proofed it down beyond the 100. But that's I think what it did is it took away a lot of the sweetness. It didn't eliminate it, but it took away a lot of it.
Yeah. Yeah. Go
right.
back and smell them. Yeah.
Holy cow.
Yeah. It's a lot going on with those noses. Isn't it funny how no matter what you do, when you've drank something and you finish it off and you let it just get a little air to it, how much tobacco and how prevalent
Yes.
tobacco comes in a
Barbara
lot
did
of
that
these
to me one
noses.
time here, and I was astounded.
And this one doesn't. It doesn't miss in that department. It's
No.
it's definitely very tobacco forward.
Yeah, especially the first one.
Yeah. But
but heavy sweet.
yeah, super
Yeah,
sweet.
super
Super
sweet.
sweet. Yeah.
Still, that sweet is so prevalent.
So, I don't know.
I don't know.
Well,
Both are incredible.
Dragon's Milk, New Holland, whatever you
Dragon's
want to call
Milk
yourself.
Origin.
Origin series. Thumbs up.
Thumbs up.
Pretty good stuff there. I'm pleasantly surprised for the youthfulness of it, how much it comes through, and it's not real corn forward. I mean, especially with
No.
it being 75% corn.
Yeah, I know. You would
70.
not have thought that.
70% corn, yeah, 25 malt, and then 5
70,
dry.
25,
Yeah.
5.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
pretty good job there, man. I appreciate what they did with this, and A+ on the packaging. I just really love the bottle.
Yeah, I know. The bottle is incredible.
So
It's very artistic.
I think that's our episode of Bourbon Barrel Talk. If you want to find us, you can find us on Facebook, the Instagram, or the X. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. That way you get our episodes as soon as they hit Sunday morning at 6 a.m. If you have any questions, send them to bourbonbarreltalk@gmail.com, or you can send us through Messenger on Facebook or Instagram. This is Scott, the Brox, and Dan signing off. Peace.
Later.
Prost.
Schlancha.